For some in the Star Wars galaxy, joining the Imperial Navy may have seemed like the only reasonable means of escaping from a backwater world. We know this was the case with Luke and his friends, but TIE pilots weren't a resource the Empire took particularly seriously. The Empire, with a massive pool of material and manpower at their disposal, wasn't particularly concerned with losses. And flying in an unshielded fighter could end your career quickly. While being shot down would be the end of the line for most Imperial pilots, even death wasn't enough to free some aces from Imperial service. When Palpatine returned from death in his clone bodies, the Empire he began to rebuild on Biss and the Deep Core went deeper and more openly into dark arts and horrifying experimentation. One of the biggest examples of this, even if it's not clear on the surface, was the Shadow Droid. Superficially, it may look like a simple, albeit powerful, droid fighter like any other, possibly even inspired by the droid fighters of the CIS and the Clone Wars. But rather than being operated by a computer, at the core of each Shadow Droid was the brain of a fallen Imperial fighter ace. These brains would then have to just sit in their fighter, flying when necessary, and otherwise hopefully having access to at least some kind of apps or games. Although Sith alchemy was used to destroy the personality of the former pilot, leaving them essentially as just a fleshy flying machine. Allegedly, the fighters were also directly powered to some extent by the dark side. Stories of being hunted by pilots you'd already shot down in these strange black droids would even be told by spacers in cantinas. As horrifying and technologically impressive as these fearsome fighters were, they actually represented a failure for Palpatine. The tech used to create these Shadow Droids, engineered by Umak Leth, who had also worked on the Death Star, was a neural link between the brain and the ship created in an imitation of a different type of technology. The Seruvi Imperium in the unknown regions was made up of space dinosaurs who powered their technology through the life force of other beings directly in a process called entechment, which was almost a religious undergoing for the Seruvi. They would capture planets and turn the entire populations into living batteries. During the Battle of Bakura after Endor, some guy named Luke Skywalker even sensed that the enteched beings remained in some way conscious within the machines they powered. Entechment really caught the interest of Palpatine, who offered to trade the Seruvi Imperial colony worlds in exchange for the secrets of some of their technology, hoping to make his own similar battle droids, among probably other goals related to using it for life extension in some way. It was the failure to properly replicate this Seruvi technology which led to the creation of the Shadow Droids by Umak Leth. While the Shadow Droids weren't powered by the pilot's life force in the same way that Seruvi entechment worked, since the brain would really just be used to fly the ship, the dark side may have been what helped fill that gap along with some more conventional technology. The Shadow Droids also weren't unique. A smaller precursor design had been made leading up to these more powerful fighters, an anti-personnel droid called the Shadow Security Droid, and presumably there may have even been some other models floating around as well. While they seem to fall out of mainline Imperial use after Palpatine's more supposedly permanent death, the technique would be used by future Sith to create their own droids and protect their own holdings. I'm not really sure which fate would have been worse, but neither entechment nor becoming a Shadow Droid seems like a fun time. That's going to do it for today's video though. I'm hoping to get back to more of these more direct lore videos, which there's been less of on the channel lately. Special thanks to Philloraptor of the Empire War Expanded team, who made the Shadow Droid and Shadow Security Droid models for the upcoming 3.3 version of the Thrawn's Revenge mod. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.